Hello, Janet. Good morning, everyone. Very early in Arizona. Thank you for coming. Okay, so today, last session, we were talking about this idea of getting to know each other a little more as a group. And that can help us to develop this sense of community. Sometimes we hear what other people are doing, ideas may come up, or sometimes it's also an opportunity to help create connections between other people. Like, you hear somebody's doing certain thing, and then later somebody asks you who's doing that thing, and then I hear somebody. So it can be very good to know these things. Along that, also, yeah, I say that because maybe today some people want to present. It's part of the activities of the day. Then on my side, I want to do review on debate number 8. And then I want to share with you a little bit of the run look section. Yesterday, I read some of it. I was reviewing the material, the content. This is the run look section from the first book, A Door to Emptiness. And, each compendium of debates written in this format has its own run look section. It's the section where the particular school presenting their point of view kind of gives you a list of, how do you call it, ideas, principles, and facts that are used, information that is used in the debates. But you will see this presentation is very straightforward. So I was thinking, and this one particularly just happens to be very long. So it will take a few sessions to go through. But I want to do that as start sharing part of it as part of the presentation today. Okay, so let's just start with the beginning. Taking some time to set up our motivation and intention. Like, why are we here? As a cause and as a result. What kind of motivation and intention cause us to want to be here today? And also, what kind of intention and motivation we want to achieve by being here? I hope this makes sense. As a cause, as a result. So let's just take a few moments on that. Okay, so my wish today is that the things that we learn in this session and preparing for this session and being around the material of these sessions, may whatever we learn really help us to transform our realities, our existence. Okay, so let me check if everybody has what they need tech table wise. I think so. I don't see hands up. Okay, great. So first, let me start. I'm wondering if, are you presenting this time, Janet? Yay, okay, excellent. Thank you so much for agreeing to do this. And then I don't know if anybody else wants to present today. Maybe after you listen to Janet, you get courageous. And if anybody else wants to present. Hello, Catherine, thank you. Thank you for the camera on. And for the reminders to speak slowly. Okay, so let's start, Janet. Whenever you're ready, it will be great. So, I mean, and for everyone, no pressure. It's just a friendly hello. This is my name and this is where I live. This is what I do. And you can present a few times over the course. So don't think it's like, you have to do it one time only. And no, just relax. So, okay, I'm gonna spotlight you, Janet. If you feel ready, if you can share a little bit of yourself, or I don't know, 5 minutes or a little longer than that, that's fine. And thank you so much. I'm going to spotlight. 1, 2, 3.
Hello, everybody. And I'll preface this by saying that I'm in school for speech right now. That's why I uploaded the document with the outline. So I am basically following the outline. And I will also preface that they had sample videos of like Ellen DeGeneres. So if it comes across a little bit like comedic, I have these philosophical influences from Ellen DeGeneres. And my brother, I guess, too. My family. All right. Um, my nominal designation is Janet Chen, and I also am as known by my brand name is Mad Maiden Shrub. I live in Madison, Wisconsin. I have had a local food brand, but I'm putting down that business. So that was Madison Maiden, Mad Maiden. I am ABC, American born Chinese. I was born in Belleville, New Jersey. My parents are from Taiwan. I do not speak Mandarin, although I would like to learn. I live with my boyfriend, Doug. I will be studying to be a physical therapy assistant at Black Hawk Technical College starting fall of 2026. And I won't finish for 3 years. In 2029, I'll say, and I'll be 59 at that point. So you may ask, why am I interested in pramana, valid cognition, accurate and reliable view of reality? Why? A, is it to purify wrong worldviews? B, is it because my Nay Lama told me to? He told me to study emptiness, which includes analytical meditation. C, is it because the first thing to do when starting a debate is making a wrong statement? And I do this so well. One of my Nay Lama's pet peeves is that I tell stories about him and other things constantly. No editing, no fact checking, no analysis. My big mental affliction to work on in Lozhang is gossip. So this is a form of telling unedited, incorrect speech, which badly needs correction. Just thinking without analysis leads to saying, leads to spreading wrong information and spreading its understanding. I feel like I've caused a lot of bad effects with my poor speech, but I also attract correction. Just thinking without, I could use a speech class and I could use a Pramana class, and I feel like already my speech has improved. I am perceiving, receiving teachings, and I am practicing for the purification of speech. My hope is to finish the 18 ACI classes. I am on ACI 15. It is my pleasure to join this class. I will be here online when I cannot join in person, but I will be here. I am committed. My Ney Lama said learning Tibetan would not help me with learning about emptiness. And the Japanese nun at Deer Park Temple, there's like a Lukpap temple by me. Strange. It's my karmic seeds, I guess. Said that emptiness is so difficult to learn that English is almost better to teach it with instead of translating it. What I learned about with learning Tibetan, they teach it at Deer Park, is spelling and using the dictionary. Dictionaries and glossaries also include Sanskrit. Going to the Sanskrit with Arya Nagarjuna, I'm in an Arya Nagarjuna investigation group with Lama Sarani, helps dispel the passing on of misinformation, which is my specialty. So I soldier on with purifying my mental affliction with using the dictionary. I have a breakthrough word. It's actually a group of words. Adam said we're learning groups of words. And my breakthrough word is Gang Zag Gi Dag Me. In Sanskrit, Purusa Nira Tamaya, which is the selflessness of a person. So a Purusa is a cosmic man made of parts that make the whole world, but really in this context, it's a person, a collection of parts, and that person is a projection upon that collection of parts. I can understand all that now after all this going through a collection of parts with everyone here. I had a breakthrough. Just to recap, my mental afflictions is saying the wrong things all the time. This is dependently arising with the correction of the wrong thing. So I feel like I've brought my wrong things here to be corrected, and I am doing my part. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Janet. Thank you. I think your presentation is very fun. I think you speak very good English. I grew up learning and I'm still learning to speak English, but so It's so interesting for me when people speak very eloquently. I like it. Thank you. And
I am ABC, so I am American born Chinese.
what's ABC?
It's the term to call Chinese people in America. We're ABC. We're
Really? What?
American born Chinese. It's an acronym.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So we're not
American.
really Chinese and we're not really American.
Uh, you're both. You're really both.
We're both and neither.
Yeah. All right. Thanks so much. Um, something that I my one of the things that you say that was interesting for me, and I just want the clarification. Well, many, but one is you say your Dalai Lama said that learning Tibetan will not help you to understand emptiness.
He wants me to focus my time on the emptiness teachings and
Mhm,
on the readings. He thinks the core of this is reading. He
mhm,
thinks reading in English is fine. There's translations. I do not need to go to the Tibetan. But when I went to the Tibetan, I learned to use the dictionary, and the dictionary also had Sanskrit, which is what Arya Nagarjuna is coming from. So it actually it I didn't know that would happen, but it did happen. So the
mhm,
word Parusa was one in chapter 10 of Mula Madhyamaka Karika. I have to slow down. But it's the wisdom text, the famous one. Chapter 10 is the fuel and fire, and there's a line when a man touches a woman and a woman touches a man. So the word man is Parusa, but it's really a person with the five senses being projected on. It's not a man. I mean, I suppose in the terms of teaching to men, like kings, Arya Nagarjuna taught to kings,
mhm,
how kings like their ladies.
mhm.
And you have an audience of men and their desire. In that
Yeah.
context, yes, but he's also talking about the person. He's using Parusa and not Atmen because it
Mhm,
is the person with the
mhm.
different parts that we happily project our mental afflictions upon.
So just my opinion, and I without knowing much and without context, without knowing who is your Lama, and without knowing why he may be telling you those things specifically to you, without knowing that. But I think learning Tibetan and learning Sanskrit can be very beneficial to understand deeper the Dharma. And because emptiness is part of the Dharma, I will argue that it can be extremely beneficial. It has been for me to understand emptiness deeper. Although I will agree with him that at some initial stages, you don't have to focus that much on it. You can you can do it without it. I think so. But at least for me, for the kind of person that I am, to me it has been very helpful. But again, it's not like I'm gonna say like no, what he's saying is wrong or anything because I don't know why he's saying that, right? I'm just
Well,
saying my opinion.
I know why. Dude, it's coming from my side at this point. Until I purify that I'm saying wrong things, people are going to say wrong things to me. And
Hmm.
I have obviously not purified this.
We'll see. We'll see. But thank you so much for sharing. I think it's very cool. Then, at least now is the first time I hear you like talking more about yourself or about anything. So now it's like, when I when I hear or get to know, yeah, when I hear about Janet, I have a different mental picture. It's more clear. So thank you so much for sharing. Maybe for today, I think that's it. So we still have time to cover one thing. Sorry, we still have time to cover some content. Although I was want to ask Adam if you have some topics you would like to present today, or we just go and focus on the run look section. Just so I know mm, about the plan flow of today. What do you think, Adam?
I think it'd be fun to jump into the wrong Luke section because then it'll give us some. Uh, I hate using the word because everybody uses it so much with creating stuff for social media. And sometimes I feel like people use the word content. Um, uh, it's almost, I see people making videos and creating stuff that has no meaning, really,
Mhm.
a lot. I have the karma. And so I don't want to consider the Dharma that way. Uh, I feel like nowadays people are using social media and they're trying to make money off of it and they're gathering people's attention for no
Mhm.
reason. Uh, so I want to make sure that I try not to use the word content. But I think it will give us some good ammunition moving into maybe using Mushi Musum. Does everybody see what I'm saying? Maybe about the social media world and content. It seems like there's a lot out there that really has no meaning, and people are just making things to fill people's time with. It all seems kind of meaningless, and I don't feel that way about the Dharma.
It's
Um,
useless talk.
it really does feel that way. Like, and I try not to be so pessimistic, but I see it a lot, especially as Juan and I try to create content. Um, I try to differentiate between the two because it feels like people are treating it like a job, and yeah, a lot of it doesn't seem to go anywhere or mean anything. Um, anyways, sorry, that's my negative, pessimistic view on on stuff for the morning. So I'll be more positive from here on out.
Okay, so then, yeah, let's just jump straight to the run look section. I'm gonna share my screen. Ta-ta-ta-ta. Okay. Okay. So just so you know where I'm getting this from, this is some extract of the book Destroy Adore. No, this is not Destroying the Darkness. Destroying the Darkness is book number 2. This is book number 1, A Door to Emptiness. And here, all these first pages are the first debates. You have access to this document in some Google uh, link that I share in the chat, but if any of you is interested, I can share it again or something if you cannot find it or whatever. So just to say, we are coming from these debates. We haven't reviewed them all yet, but then at some point we reach, you see on page 30, we reach this new section, B, our own school position on the topic of red and white.
Can we can, just wanted to ask everybody to say Gok Shak Pong Sum.
Mhm.
Gok Gok Shak Pong Sum. Uh,
Gakshapungsum.
so the first it's an abbreviated way of outlining how each topic in the collected topics is presented. So the first one would be Rangluk, or excuse me, Shenluk Gakpa, which means refuting the ideas of other people. And then you have the Rangluk section, which is the second section. And then you have the Tsupa Pongwa, which is an additional way of de debating wrong ideas. So what happens is you have a section where people come along and say wrong things, and then you learn how to debate those wrong ideas about colors and physical phenomena, like physical things. Then we give our own position on things. which is the section that Juan is now bringing us into. And it's quite extensive. So you have to think about how in English we have a term called pedagogical. Okay. Pedagogical means how do you teach somebody something? And in education, it's a very big topic to think about what is the best way to teach someone something. It's and I'm sure this is in every country and in every culture around the world. People debate about the most efficient way to teach someone something in classical education in the West, and also in the monasteries and colleges of Western China. So the reason that I'm pausing here and I'm asking Juan to just maybe give me 1 or 2 more minutes is is to really highlight how the monasteries are choosing to educate people in the things that we're trying to learn. So you have a series of like think about it, right? The very first debate that we had, somebody came along and said, if something is a color, it has to be red, right? Which is obviously an incorrect position, right? So then we did that in a series of debates. I think there was 12 in total in the first section. Okay, so what you're doing, because this chapter isn't just about colors, right? It's about types of colors. It's about like smells and types of sounds, right? So it's like what we're learning about is all the physical phenomenon, all the physical things in our world. And by the end of the first section, you're going to have a way of refuting or denying or debating 12 wrong ideas. Okay. These could be these debates could take place with people that you work with or friends, right? I like to go to the sauna sometimes because it helps me. And sometimes people in the sauna have extremely weird ideas that they talk about. Really, really weird. And sometimes they ask me my opinion about things. And this is how, having gone through this text, I now have a whole list of ways that I can try to show them how reality really exists, right? But if you don't know the typical, what I'm trying to present to you here and now, in this very moment, is that if you go through this book, you will have every, you will be able to fight every wrong idea about reality. Okay. Which is a really, really cool place to be. Right. So oftentimes we have to debate with ourselves. Okay. And we have to fight the wrong ideas in our own mind. Right. But when we do that, we then become like an instrument of Lord Manjushri. Right. And as an instrument of Lord Manjushri, we can fight wrong ideas in the world. Okay. Now, the reason I stopped there is because we just went through a section of about 12 debates. And in a pedagogical way, the way that they teach it in the monastery is they go through and give you a list of wrong ideas. Then they stop, which is what Juan is doing right now. And they say, no, here, okay, this is actually what we believe. Okay. And then after learning what we believe, we go into another section where our opponents are allowed to come back again and say more wrong things. Okay. And then we learn how to fight those ideas too. So when we go through these chapters, we're going to do so in 3 sections, and you have to remember where we are. Okay. I asked Geshe Michael if I should go through and memorize this text. And he said, yes, you should. But he said, only memorize the wrong Luke section. Okay. Because you don't want to confuse yourself and memorize wrong ideas incorrectly. Okay. So the section that Juan's about to cover right now and the section that we're about to go through is probably the most important part of this chapter. Okay. So if you wanted anything to really buckle down and memorize, this is probably a really, really good section.
Yeah, thank you so much, Adam. Great introduction. And yeah, as I was saying, this is a long section, so we're gonna be approaching it
Mhm.
step by step, little by little during different sessions.
Yeah. This
But
this is one of the longer, if not the longest, Rang Luk of the first book of the collected topics. Some of them are only maybe one or two sections, but this one is, I think, the longest.
and you'll see how even the style of the presentation changes. Here we are not going much in a debate format. Here we are going like straight bullet points almost. You'll see in a moment. So let's check it out. B, our own school positions on the topic of red and white schools position. Okay, so check it out how it starts. Ranki Luk La. Here is where we present the position of our own school. And remember, what school are we in? This Ranluk position, it's talking about the beliefs of the school number 2, the logic, the sutras schools. So it may be the case that sometimes you could say like, wait a second, but what about this? And remember that very likely it could be a school perspective thing. You could be in the middle of a school dilemma. Okay, check how they present it. And this is one of the examples that, to me, understanding the Tibetan helps me. One of the reasons is that language creates mental pictures in our mind, and the way we structure language, the way we form these mental images, it can be appreciated as well when you, for example, you're talking or thinking in one language, then you switch to the other language, and you can appreciate how those two languages have a slightly different ways to create mental pictures. And some languages, let's say, emphasize some qualities of an object. Very simple example will be, and what's the word for this, Adam? You may remember. I think it's syntax in languages. For
Yeah.
example, English will say a
Yeah.
a red bird.
Uh-huh.
And in Spanish, you see, in English, first you say red, which is the quality that the bird holds. But in Spanish, for example, you switch and you say pájaro rojo. First,
Yeah.
you talk about the subject and then the quality that the subject has.
Yeah. It's like sometimes I think about it and I say SVO, subject, verb, object.
Mhm.
SVO, right? And that that's usually the way that English handles things
Mhm.
is using the subject, then the verb, then the object, and the sentence in the syntax, right?
Mhm.
However, in I want to say Tibetan.
Mhm.
Okay. In the Tibetan language, um, it's subject, object, verb. Yeah. So it does switch around. But I don't think it's really something you have to get super, super mindful about. You don't really have to get too in your head about it because if you if you just stick with it and you just go through here and try to look to see how the English is is kind of working with the Tibetan, I think you'll see in a very common sense way over time. And this is the way that Geshe Michael teaches us to translate. Is he didn't make us focus on the specifics, and we didn't have to go in and really study grammar and everything. But he's chosen to teach us over 20 years, right? So I suggest to you that don't get too in your head about it. Feel loose about it, but also, yeah, just in a loose way, try to pay attention. and I think you'll see, because it's been very helpful to see Geshe Michael teach us all how to translate this way. And we'll stop and go over the vocab too, so that you can see.
Okay, so let me start with this one. Tsuki tsenyi yote. Just to start like a little bit like suk. Some of you, of course, by now know. We've been talking about this for a long time. Form. This is almost like how we hypertext, right, Adam? When you are
Yeah,
hypertexting, if later some people is interested, you can ask us. But you
yeah,
highlight the word in Tibetan, then you find the equivalent in the sentence in English, and then you hit spacebar, and then the program hypertext makes a link between these two. So next time you go and put your arrow on top of it, it will highlight them both. It's a great way to learn Tibetan. But anyways, suk, form. Ki, of or for. Tsenyi, definition. And yote, it will be does exist, right? Or there is. So we'll say like there is a definition for or of form. We're not going to do this in every sentence, just in this first one. And then, okay, which one is it? Then if there is one, I guess they're going to tell me which one is it. And then they say, suk, rung, de, yin pecher. So when you say the pecher, it's because, but is what we were talking about in Tibetan, the syntax is different. So the because or the reason why comes at the end of the sentence. In English is different. We have to use it before. So it says because rung, suk rung de yin. This I was not clear why it gets translated as anything you can point to as being form is that definition. Because I don't know Tibetan enough to understand why suk rung means what you can point at to be form. Well, I don't know that because I never hear
it does.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Rung, just adding
Yeah.
rung.
Yeah. Rung means like suitable, right?
Okay.
And te usually means like that,
Yeah.
right? So that you have to think about it, right? Like, if you think about the color red, how would you describe the color red, right? Like in computer language, you can use what's called a red, green, and blue value to be specific. But if you wanted to describe to someone the color red, it's almost impossible to do. And so you have to point at it and say, no, this is what I mean when I say red, the color red. So that's what rung here means. And you'll see it being used a lot. Tsukitseni yete, tsukrung deyembeichir, right? There's a definition for form because anything that you can point to as being form is that definition, right? So yeah, you're going to see this word rung a lot, and it just means because this is an example that I can give you physically. I can hold it in my hand and I can say, this is what it is. This is what I mean, right?
Okay, that's great. So it basically says because the definition of form is that thing that is suitable to be form, to be point as form. I see why now it's translated to be point as form, right? You can point to it as being form.
Yeah.
Okay, so what we learn in this is like, okay, yes, now I'm gonna start moving faster. Just I wanted to do this with the first one, but check this out. Okay, the system they are using now is, okay, just get this straight. There is a definition of form because anything which you can point to as being form is that definition. It's like you're supposed to be making notes And I understand why this could be very helpful to memorize.
Mm-hmm.
And then we move to the next one. Form and matter are synonyms.
Yeah.
Suk, dan, bempo, ni, dung, chik. Suk,
Yeah.
form, tang, and bempo, matter. Ni means two. So it's basically saying these two, form and matter. Dun is the meaning, chik, one. So the meaning of these two, form and matter, is one, meaning they are synonyms. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then it says, form can be divided into two types, outer form and inner form.
Yeah.
So what I imagine here is like, even if you start a debate and you just want to play, let's say, or have a little fun, and then somebody starts saying like, okay, consider form. It's something you can touch because it's made of matter. You could start like, okay, even if that statement is correct, but you could start saying things like, okay, but what do you mean when you say form? What do you mean? Are you talking about outer form or are you talking about inner form? You know, just for the purpose of taking the debate deeper, or to, for example, help the audience to learn something new.
Yeah.
You can take the debates to this way. So for me, it was like, oh, okay, so apparently there is outer form and inner form, but yet I still don't know which one is which. But luckily, they're gonna tell us here. And then next, now we learn there's two types of form you can divide form into. Next one, there does exist a definition of outer form. So I'm like, oh, great. Now I'm gonna learn what outer form is. And then they say, because that form which is not subsumed by the mind stream of a living being is that definition. And at first I was like, what? I don't understand anything of this. But luckily, we have footnotes. And then it says, okay, what's the meaning of not being subsumed by a mind stream? That is, it means basically form that is not directly covered by our awareness. Classical example, thank God there is a classical example, is the tip of a hair which is still attached to our head. We do not sense it if someone pinches it. So basically it says like the tip of our hair, the little that I have, I guess, it's not very much covered by my consciousness or my awareness. Like I don't feel if somebody pinches at it, right? But it says as opposed to the root of the same hair, if somebody pinches it, which we do sense, if someone pulls that hair out. And then it says, see the example on Light of the Path of Freedom by commentary by Master Vasubandhu, and then it gives you details on how to find that. But then I understand, oh, okay, so basically outer form, which in this school, outer form is whatever is not attached to my awareness. For example, I know my phone, if somebody comes and destroys the phone, I don't feel any physical pain, maybe emotional pain, but not physical. And the like, so I learned, this is interesting because when they talk about inner form, they are talking a little bit about I don't know if this is correct to express this way, but to say a self, when they are talking about the inner form, is like the elements that are part of the person, but in the sense of the awareness is connected to it. And when they talk about outer form, it's talking about all that is not part of the person in the sense of your awareness is not directly linked to it. So I was like, oh, great, this is very interesting. It will open up new discoveries or realizations later. I like to think that the word realization is just linked to this idea of realizing things, make things make things, make truths about reality visible in our minds, aware in our minds, something like that. So when you realize something, is like you just now are aware of some truth of reality or something like that.
You know, there's a really cool analogy in A Gift of Liberation in Pabonka Rinpoche's Lam Rim. And he says, learning the alphabet, like every letter, when you're learning the alphabet, every letter that you learn, and you learn what it sounds like. He says that it's like a butter lamp being lit in your mind, and it eliminates the darkness of ignorance. So I think Juan has a very beautiful point here, which is that every bit of wisdom that you learn is like a butter lamp that you light in your mind, right? And the darkness that you're casting away, the darkness that you're getting rid of, is your, your misunderstanding of reality. And eventually, your whole mind will be filled with light, and you won't misunderstand anything. And you'll be a Tamche Kempa, a Mr. Know-it-all.
Amazing. Yay. Okay, let's keep going. So just in the first page of the Randook, we already learned what's the definition of form, and that there exists a definition because you can point at it.
Mm-hmm.
Then that form and matter are synonyms.
Quick, Juan, what's the definition of form without looking?
Anything that you can point as to be form.
Ooh, okay. Is there uh there there is no word which is synonymous with form.
I disagree. There is a word that is synonymous with form.
Okay, well then you give it to me. You
Uh,
give me an example.
it will be matter. Matter,
Ah,
yeah.
okay.
And just so you know, form can be divided into two types. Now
Oh, well,
realize,
thank you, sir.
right?
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just about to ask that question. So,
Imagine like just going in the bus in the public transportation, you say like, hey, do you know that form can be divided into two types?
yeah,
Maybe it's a good
yeah,
pickup line. You want to meet new people.
yeah. It's impressive.
Yeah. All right. So let's keep going because the person is not gonna be entertained forever if you don't keep going. You need to tell them more facts about existence.
It's true.
And then you'll be like, yeah, and guess what? There is a definition of outer form because that form which is not subsumed by the mind stream of a living being is that definition. Now we learn what's the meaning of not being subsumed by the mind stream of a living being. And it's here in the footnote. Okay, and then we keep going. Outer form, you see how it's like, I see like as a chart flow, like the categories start getting wider and wider and wider. So it's like starting to cover a lot of things that have to be with form, because form was
this would be perfect to make a mind map of, right?
yeah, really.
Because we already had the categories of existence, but now it's getting, like Juan said, is it's starting to get a little bit more full. The tree is beginning to grow. Yeah.
Then it goes with this. Okay, more exciting, how to say, data, information, more exciting bullet points. Outer form may be divided into 5 different types. Okay, so you have form. Form has 2 types, outer and inner. But now inside the outer form, there are 5 more types that you can divide outer form into. Which one are those? The door of sense of visible form, the door of sense of sound, the door of sense of smell, the door of sense of taste, and the door of sense of tangibles. And remember last session we were talking about all this idea, like what's the meaning for something to be the door of sense of one of the senses. And then we come to this idea that the object that sense perceives is the door of sense of that sense. So the door of sense of visible form is colors and shapes. The door of sense of sound is sounds. The door of sense of smell is smells, and the like. But now I feel much more. What's the opposite of lost? Much more.
Sexual restraint, sexual
No,
purity.
no. Oh, no, no, no. I don't mean lost in that way. I mean lost when you get lost in the middle of the forest.
Okay. Found?
I guess. Like now I feel more found. I just don't feel lost when I I don't feel
Yeah.
lost when I don't feel lost when I read these because we already
Oh,
clarified
yeah.
few ideas. Like, okay, okay, now I know what they're talking about.
Just the fact that I misunderstood you saying lust,
Yeah,
I was uh I was pretty lost.
yeah. So, okay, we keep going, but you see how it's like, okay, okay, cool. I'm learning a lot of things here. There is a definition of the door of sense of visible form because that object which is perceived by the consciousness of the eye is that definition. That's cool. We had this in one of the debates recently. So now I feel like, okay, it's everything is familiar to me. That object which is perceived by the consciousness of the eye will be also the definition for colors and shapes of
Hmm.
visible
Hmm.
form. Okay,
Hmm.
great. I know what's going on. Next, the door of sense of visible form may have be divided in two parts. Oh, you see shapes and
Hmm.
colors. Okay, great.
Hmm.
And
Now,
imagine in your mind how the chart flow is keeps opening.
mhm.
Maybe
Yeah,
next time or in a few sessions, I could try to do the visual flow chart.
it's, yeah, I think it would be really helpful. And everybody's heard Geshe Michael say the only thing you can see with your eye. This would be really beautiful to think about just for 1 second.
Mhm.
Geshe Michael always says, only thing you can see with your eye, the only thing you can see is colors and shapes, right? So, what is a classical way of proving that things are coming from our own mind, right? That we could use the definition of uh, uh, things which you can see, let's say. So, does anybody have an example that Geshe Michael has used to prove dependent origination to us using the definition that Juan just gave us?
I
It's a
have
very
two
classical,
ideas.
very
Yeah.
okay. So Master Chandrakirti, he used a chariot, okay, and we can also use a car, right? Can also think about coffee cup. Okay. I would say let's stick with Master Chandikirti and we'll stick with the car, right? Car has what? Has wheels, has a windshield, has a steering wheel, right? Has a roof, an antenna maybe. Uh, for some reason I want to think about a Cybertruck. Um, uh, but it has many parts, doesn't it? Right? So is it one thing or is it a collection of parts? Is it both? Is it neither? Okay. We also just went through the mushi musum of a car. Okay. The reason I say this is because when you look at a car, you often think, oh no, I'm seeing a car, right? You think when you look at a car or your computer right now that you're looking at a computer, but it's not the case. Only thing your eye can see is colors and shapes. Okay. So your eye is not seeing a car. Your eye is seeing colors and shapes. Okay. And independent of your own awareness and your mind tying all the parts together, then you understand how you're labeling the data that's coming into your mind, that you're labeling, right? The colors and shapes that are coming in through your eye consciousness, right? So this is a proof. It's a proof, okay, that cars are coming from your seeds. Cars are coming from your mind. Okay. And the reason I think it was so beautiful is because Juan just gave us a definition that you can use to yourself or to other people to prove that cars don't exist independent of your own mind, right? And that's really cool, right? Yeah. Everybody see how each one of these can be very powerful. When Geshe Michael asked us to teach Juan and I in Japan, he asked us to focus on, instead of presenting these things from the perspective of the second school only, that we present them from the perspective of the second school, but also show you how we can tie these into Madhyamaka, to Prasangika ideas, right? And so you understand how each one of these can be very deep, okay? Very deep. And I just thought that was a good place to stop, right? Excuse me, to slow down.
Yeah, thank you. And yeah, that's true. Like Geshe wants us to keep jumping to the fourth school, basically, Madhyamika Prasangika.
Mhm.
Remember how we've been talking that there are like there are many schools of Pramana, but the main two that we study is either Master Dharma Kirti system, which is school number 2, and then also some people call it Jetson Kappa system, which will be, well, or how would you call it? Of course, it comes also from Arya Nagarjuna,
Mhm.
but
Geshe Michael said one time, he said, you know, whenever people ask me if I'm Buddhist, he
yeah,
said, I don't say if I'm Buddhist, I say I'm Tsongkapian.
yeah, yeah. Because I don't know if the way that I'm guessing, this is just a guess, that the reason could be that although Jetson Kappa uses the same content of the middle way, the philosophical content, maybe he presents it more into um,
Mhm.
logical logical format, more like into a Pramana way of explaining things. When Arya Nagarjuna, maybe, I'm just saying maybe because it's my guess. I don't know enough material of him. I was gonna say content of him, but no, material. Adam
I'm
is
sorry. So,
happy. No, it's
no,
okay. It's
no.
jokes.
Look, I'm sorry if I offended anybody who uses the word content. I actually probably shouldn't have said anything, but for some reason I've been getting annoyed by social media lately because it all feels like so I have to watch my own meaningless speech if if I want to see social media in a in a good light. Yeah.
Yeah. No, and I think at least in Spanish content, you can talk about the content of a book, right? Or
Yeah,
like the
yeah, yeah,
content of a
yeah,
box. I was
yeah.
just talking more about
No,
what are we gonna find inside of
yeah.
something.
Juan, I'm sorry, it wasn't you, sir. It's just like I I turn on my phone and it just feels like people talking about stuff that makes there's no sense, no point. Instagram, it's just people who are posting stuff because they want to make money or something. So sorry. Yeah, sorry. Again,
No, it's
I'll
okay, it's
stop
okay.
talking about it.
And I see Janet Chen raise her hand, but I don't know if it's. Do you wanna say anything or? Oh, okay.
So Mula Madhya Maka Karika, the wisdom text by Arya
Hmm.
Nagarjuna, that
Hmm.
is a debate. It is
Mm.
this,
Mm.
but it's like pretty much, I mean, maybe past like the very first chapter.
Mhm, mhm,
Once you start getting into the 10th chapter, it's really very
mhm.
difficult to understand. And
Ooh.
I feel part of the problem is there's so many translations, and some of them are
Mhm.
flat
Yeah,
out bad because
pretty
they were done
bad.
by people who don't understand Buddhism. And
Hmm.
then others of them, they took the Tibetan, but not the Sanskrit. But then if you take the Sanskrit, you're going to the original. So
Yeah.
there's just a lot. It's old. It's from 200 AD. There's been
Hmm.
a lot of time to corrupt it.
Hmm.
It's like me, but 2000 years worse. There's just a lot of correction that needs to be done with that particular text.
Yeah.
No, thank you so much for saying that because then yeah, it helps me to clarify my idea. Okay. Oh, great. And it's sometimes it's crazy. Like I've been there for classes where Geshe is teaching us wisdom, right?
Mhm,
This text,
mhm.
oh
Mula
my,
Mula
Mutyama
Majamaka Karika Karika.
Karika. Yeah. And then, but then I didn't realize, it's like my mind didn't grasp that it's in a debate format. So you're right.
Yeah.
It's great to, oh yeah, yeah, you're right. So anyways, these are the two systems that we study the most, the system of the school number 2 and the system of the school number 4, the upper half of school number 4. So
Mhm,
just to tie it back to what Adam was saying, we are supposed to constantly be using the content we learned from school number 2 and then try to make it fit or compare it to the ideas of school number 4. And some of them are not gonna fit, but by trying them to fit, we're gonna realize something. We're gonna realize they don't fit, and hopefully we will understand why they don't fit or how
mhm.
they don't fit. But some of them will fit as well. That's our job, to find out what's going on here. Geshe called one of the sessions or the events a crack on the wind of the plane or something like that. Do you remember?
Mm, mm, mm-mm.
And he was saying something like, we need to figure it out with this investigation. What is really going on here in this
Mhm,
life, in this reality, in this existence? Something seems weird. We have to figure out what it is.
mhm.
Okay, we have 10 more minutes to go. Also, I want to open up if anybody has questions or want to say something, commentaries. If not, the thing is when I'm sharing screen, I cannot see much of the chat or anything, but let me know. I'll keep going
Um,
then. Juan raise hand. Hello, Juan. Do you want to say something?
Yeah, I have a quick question, actually, not really quick, but let me ask you, if correct me if I'm wrong. So as far as I understand, if I have a pen here,
mhm,
and
mhm,
so for my eyes, the form, I my how
mhm,
say my
mhm.
what form?
Yeah.
Um,
Any
the visible
anything that you
form,
can. Yeah.
yeah, for the eyes, I can see the shape and the sound already, right?
Yeah.
For so the setup something like the stick with the
Thickness.
and the shape and the form
Yeah.
color also color also
Color. Yeah. Shape and color.
something
Yeah.
like that it
Yeah.
the blue one, and
Mhm.
then but it doesn't know that this is a pen yet,
Yeah.
right? I for the
Yeah.
eye only, so the
Hmm.
I send data to my
Hmm.
to my what to
Hmm.
my
Your
mind.
your mind, right? Yeah. Your
Yeah,
mind
that
is you sometimes I like to think about like not everyone, but most people have a webcam, right, on their laptop, right? Well, does the computer, right, understand that does the camera on the computer think, oh, no, this is a pen,
Yeah,
right?
that's something that can see,
Mm-mm.
but that's
Yeah.
the user data that my eye sent to
Hmm.
it.
Like
The
when
system,
you,
okay,
if a
here's a
camera, you take a picture of a pin, right? The camera doesn't understand the pin as being a pin. It just sees colors and shapes, right?
yeah. Okay, so actually, I think that we need so many seats to we need a seat to have myself to
Hmm.
or also to see to myself and to see it as a stick and
Yeah.
this
Hmm.
color. And we
Hmm.
need another seat to be myself and to perceive it the pen.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Those are the
also
three spheres. Yeah.
and we also need the seeds
Hmm.
to have this physical
Yeah.
thing there for
That's
me to
really beautiful. Really, really beautiful, Juan. Yeah. I think what you're saying is you're giving an example of the three spheres, right?
yeah, the tree sphere. Can you say more about tree sphere? Yeah.
Um, it would be the object that you're perceiving, right? Yourself, okay,
Mm.
would be number two, but then also how the perceptions all work together, right? So the action of perceiving that object. So you have subject and object, but then you also have the perception of the object by the subject. Does that make sense? little bit? Oh, sorry, Juan. Sorry, maybe I was misunderstanding you. And Juan, also feel free to jump in here.
Okay, no,
Somebody, Nguyen put here in the chat that she understood Yu Huang as maybe bringing a mind-only perspective into this, right? That one seed creates both object and subject. So maybe I misheard.
Actually, I'm still not very clear about which school say what which in
Hmm.
here.
Okay.
As far as and I heard Geshe Michael said that yeah we have from one seed we have in create
Yeah.
yeah both
Mhm.
like I say
Yeah. It's
create
true,
by
Juan.
the object and subject. So that's the my only. So
That's
how
mind
about
only. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
Tiger School? They said
Yeah. Number three.
yeah. Okay, but
Yeah.
I mean, thanks to you guys, and then I understand. I suddenly I have is the system to see that the whole world created by that way, and
Mm.
and and I in my meditation I see that the whole world is just like the light, the cause and effect.
Yeah.
I see very very great, very big message of cause and effect to create everything in our life.
Yeah.
Yeah. So actually, I think it's really messy, right? For the
It
cause
is
and effect.
messy. Yeah.
Some
What's really
like
interesting is Arya Nagarjuna gives an emptiness of cause and effect too, which really blew my mind the first time I heard it. Um, sorry,
because like
that
I'm in front
maybe.
of a bookshelf, and in the bookshelf have so many books, so many things on
Mhm.
the bookshelf. It means that I need
Yeah.
so many things to perceive
Yeah.
everything.
Huang, I don't want to direct, I'm not trying to give you any instruction, but if you wanted to, it sounds like what you're saying is there's so many things, right? There's so many different ways of looking at a pen, and there's so many ways of thinking about how the pen is empty. And there's a lot to read. There's a lot to go through. You're saying you have many books, right? And there's many different schools to use to look at these things. This could be a really, really good place to focus and buckle down. This is the book that is usually given to people before they begin their studies in the Geshe program. So if you wanted to just focus down on one thing, and wanted to get a very base level understanding of everything that Geshe Michael has been teaching for the past 30 years, 40 years. This is a very, very good book. And in particular, the chapter that Juan is leading us through is a very, very good place to just kind of say, you know what, I'm just going to understand this, right? Does that make sense? Okay. Yeah, I couldn't hear you that last time. You were muted.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I think I need more time to work on it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just from week to week. We haven't, how many sections have we gone over, one?
I think this I don't know if this is 12 or 13.
In just in today's class?
No, no, sorry. I thought you were asking how many sessions we have had.
No, how many sections in the text, in the Rang Lut text? We went over probably seven or eight, right?
Oh, how many
Little, yeah, sections in the
paragraphs?
text. Yeah. Can we figure that out?
Yeah.
I'm gonna give everyone a challenge, okay? I'm gonna
So okay, the
like
run look starts on
73.
73.
But let's say 74.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So we have one,
And
two,
we are,
three, four, five, six,
yeah, we are here. We are about to,
seven.
we just got here. We're about to read number
Yeah.
eight.
Okay.
Eight.
So we've hit it's 8:25. We've hit seven. Let's go through these next three. And I would challenge everyone to memorize these over the next week. There's 10 sections. It'll be really easy, right? So the definition of form is anything that you can point to as being form, right? We also know that form and matter are synonymous. We know that there are two types of form, physical form, which is inner form and outer form, right? Do you see how easy that is to kind of go through and outline in your mind? I don't think it would be super difficult, but I would challenge everybody to memorize the sections that we go through throughout this class. And what we'll do next week is maybe one could let me go first, and we'll switch and we'll take all the definitions and divisions that you guys memorize and we'll use Mushi Musum to look at them. And we'll form a couple of debates. And we'll start looking at how the monks would debate this. Does that sound fun to everyone?
Cool. So you're saying let's just finish 3 more or
Let's
4
get,
more?
yeah, let's see.
Together?
Yeah, let's just see how far we can
4?
get. Let's just see how far we can get.
Okay, we just have 4 more minutes, so maybe just a few. Okay, next one. After the door of sense of visible form may be divided in 2 parts, shapes and colors. Okay. Check again. I keep saying that. Imagine the chart flow keeps opening and opening and opening and getting more extensive because check where it's gonna go next. Shapes may be divided into 8 different types. We can keep going deeper in following only one of the branches. And imagine we haven't even talked about inner form yet. Remember how we start opening? He started going super deep into outer form, visible form, colors and shapes. So let's keep going. 8 different types of shapes: long and short, high and low, angular and rounded, and flat or not flat. Okay. An example of something which is angular can be, how do you pronounce this? Positive?
Yeah, positive. Just, yeah.
Positive.
Yeah, we could say. It just means like we could say, or this is, this is what we put forth.
And it says, for something like the shape of a rectangle will be such an example. So an example of something which is angular, it will be a rectangle. An example of something which will be rounded, it will be the shape of a circle or the outline of an egg. Cool. An example of something which is flat will be an even surface, okay, or doesn't has an or, an even surface.
Yeah.
An example of something that is not flat will be the shape of an uneven surface. Okay. But now it starts getting, when I got here, maybe we should pause here and save it. I need to investigate deep further because here I start getting confused. Check this out, just so you know what's coming. Color can be divided into 2 types, primary colors and secondary colors. Primary colors may be divided into 4, white, yellow, red, and blue. Secondary colors may be divided into 8, cloud and smoke, dust, storm and fog, illumination and darkness, shadow and sunlight. So the reason I got confused is because in the very first debates, and maybe next session we could review, we can go back a little bit to the very first debates. We start talking about primary colors, secondary colors. But then let's say there is a debate where we prove that there are more primary colors than only these 4. And the debate goes something in the lines of, just because something is not part of the set called the 4 primary colors, it doesn't mean that it cannot be a primary color. So yeah, it just arises questions. And how is it like, if we keep going here, you will gonna start seeing like how Mushi Musum, oh, actually here.
Yeah, there it is.
Go to Mushi Musum. And then they start saying that things like cloud and smoke can be a color and can be a shape at the same time. And I'm totally confused because I don't know what's the, you know how they say, you were saying, Adam, to point something, how can you explain something is red? you need to point something red to
Mhm.
show what
Mhm.
red color means.
Mhm.
But here I'm thinking, how could I know what cloud or what smoke color is?
Mhm.
Somebody will have to point at me
Yeah.
what does storm color, because I have no idea what's the meaning of is
Dust
dust
storm.
storm color. Oh,
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. I had the same hang up too when I first covered this. Yeah. When I was translating it. Uh so that's something we can also talk about next week too.
Okay, great. Okay,
Oh,
so
but look at the last line in 88.
88.
It says yeah, yip dang karok ni kai kang yang mayimpe mushi. Mushi yipe here, right? So this is a mushi, musum, like Juan was pointing out.
But what were you reading? The 88?
Yeah, yip dang karo, the last line, yip dang karo nika kang yang
Yeah.
mayimpe mushi. You see it there in the last, it's like the third to last. Anyways, you'll see that's why I think it's important that we develop our an analytical skills, our ability to look at things. And Mushi Musum, you can see how it's coming up here in the first chapter, and we can use it in every debate. So,
All right. So this is basically a taste. So you get to see, it's like the first entering, let's say, entering the run look section.
mhm.
So I hope you can appreciate how the style or format changes a little bit, although it gives this flavor of a structure way to present things similar to a debate format, like
Yeah.
very logical, very well organized structure.
Mhm.
The pace changes. It's
Mhm.
just me that I like to pause a lot to really try to chew on things sometimes. But I hope this can help us a lot to get solid in certain understandings that when we go to the debates, we're gonna be able to flow much, much faster and naturally. So thank you so much for hang out with us today. And yeah, let's see what next section we keep going and review some of the first debates regarding colors and shapes, get more clarity,
Yeah.
keep illuminating darkness
And
areas.
Mike, I do think that's how we can look at it. As far as the secondary colors, like the color of smoke and all these things. I think that's probably a good way we can look at it. Mike had a comment in the chat.
Mike?
Yeah, Mike Hoffman. Yeah, and I just wanted to make sure we can
Ah.
I addressed it before we left. Thank you, translators.
Okay.
Thank you,
Yeah,
everyone.
thank you so much, translators. Hope
Yeah.
we did a good, not too crazy difficult speed this time.
Yeah.
Well, let's say 7 out of 10.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
Thank
thanks
you.
a lot and see you next time. And also, please, if anybody wants to present about themselves, I think that was very nice. So thank you as well, Janet, for having present today. If somebody wants to do just introduction of themselves, what they are doing these days, of course, each person can decide their own personal style,
Mhm.
but put it in the chat and we save a spot like 5 to 10 minutes for presentations. It could be 1 or 2 people.
Yeah, it was really fun.
Okay. All right. Thanks a lot. I'll share the video soon in YouTube.
Okay.
Thank you so
All
much.
Have a
right. See you
great
guys.
week. Thank you.
Yeah. All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Tomorrow is your book, right, Adam? You have class
Yeah,
tomorrow.
totally. I have to
Yes, Sheila.
present everything I've been translating.
Okay.
So
All right.
yeah, it'll be fun.
I don't know. Well, I don't know if it's appropriate, but you can invite people to the sessions.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if it's appropriate.
No. It's about who?
Huh?
Who can I invite? Everyone here?
No, you.
Oh,
During you presenting what you're translating, you say, "Oh, by the way, on Fridays we do this."
yeah.
But
Oh
I don't
yeah.
know. I don't know.
No, it's true. I will. I'll say something tomorrow. I appreciate because there's so many people that come every week, And I think it'd be fun to have more people. Although everyone here is, I like the little group we have. I like the group we have. So
Thanks a lot then.
yeah, man. All
See
right, you guys
you.
have a good day.
Thank you, Gina, for the tech table support and all the translator, the recordings, the participants.
Dude.
See
Juan,
you.
thank you, man. You're doing a good job, brother.
Thank you.
All right,
Appreciate
man.
it.
Yeah.
I'm over
Have a good
there.
day, guys. Bye.
Bye.